In a three-phase residential service, the high leg, also known as the stinger leg or wild leg, cannot be left at the meter. It is mandatory to bring the high leg conductor into the residence. This requirement stems from the potential for future use and the need for a complete and code-compliant electrical system. Leaving the high leg at the meter creates several potential issues. Firstly, it limits future options for utilizing the three-phase service. If appliances or equipment requiring a 240 volts connection between the high leg and neutral are needed later, the service would need to be upgraded, incurring additional costs and labor. Secondly, not bringing in the high leg could violate electrical codes and regulations. The National Electrical Code, or NEC, provides guidelines for safe and complete electrical installations. Omitting a conductor that is part of the service configuration can be seen as a deviation from these standards. Thirdly, from a safety standpoint, having the high leg readily available within the residence allows for proper identification and management of the electrical system. The high leg typically has an orange marking or other distinct identification to indicate its higher voltage to ground, which is typically around 208 volts. This identification is crucial for preventing accidental connections and ensuring safe operation of electrical equipment. The voltage between the high leg and the neutral conductor is significantly higher than the voltage between either of the other two phases and the neutral. This higher voltage presents a shock hazard if not properly handled. Grounding is another crucial aspect of electrical safety. The NEC specifies grounding requirements for electrical services, including the high leg delta system. Proper grounding ensures that fault currents have a path back to the source, tripping circuit breakers or fuses and preventing electrical shock. Ignoring grounding requirements can lead to dangerous situations where electrical equipment becomes energized, posing a significant risk to occupants. Consider a scenario where a homeowner decides to install a piece of equipment that requires a 240 volts connection using the high leg. If the high leg is not present in the house, the homeowner would need to contact an electrician to run a new conductor from the meter to the service panel, potentially involving significant costs and delays. Furthermore, any modifications to the electrical service must be performed by a qualified electrician to ensure compliance with electrical codes and safety standards. Attempting to modify the service without proper knowledge and experience can lead to dangerous conditions, including electrical shock, fire hazards, and equipment damage. It is also important to understand the implications of a high leg delta system in terms of voltage balance. In a balanced three-phase system, the voltage between each phase and neutral is the same. However, in a high leg delta system, the voltage between the high leg and neutral is higher than the voltage between the other two phases and neutral. This voltage imbalance can affect the performance of certain types of equipment, particularly those designed for balanced three-phase systems. Therefore, it is important to carefully consider the voltage requirements of any equipment connected to a high leg delta service. If equipment is not designed to operate with the voltage imbalance, it may be necessary to use a transformer to provide the correct voltage. Transformers are used to step up or step down voltage levels, allowing equipment designed for different voltages to be used on the same electrical system. When working with electrical systems, it is essential to follow all applicable safety precautions. This includes wearing appropriate personal protective equipment, such as insulated gloves and safety glasses. It also includes using properly insulated tools and following lockout-tagout procedures to de-energize circuits before working on them. Lockout-tagout procedures involve disconnecting the power source and placing a lock and tag on the disconnect switch to prevent accidental re-energization of the circuit. Ignoring these safety precautions can lead to serious injuries or even death. Electrical codes and standards are constantly evolving to reflect new technologies and improve safety practices. It is important to stay up to date on the latest code requirements to ensure that electrical installations are safe and compliant. Continuing education courses and professional organizations can provide valuable information on changes to the electrical code. Consulting with a qualified electrical inspector can also help to ensure that electrical installations meet the requirements of the local jurisdiction. The grounding electrode system is another critical component of electrical safety. The grounding electrode system provides a low impedance path to ground for fault currents, helping to protect against electrical shock and equipment damage. The grounding electrode system typically consists of a ground rod, a metal water pipe, or a concrete encased electrode. The grounding electrode must be properly sized and installed according to the requirements of the NEC. In addition to grounding, bonding is also important for electrical safety. Bonding involves connecting all metal parts of an electrical system together to create a continuous electrical path. Bonding helps to reduce the voltage potential between different metal parts, preventing electrical shock hazards. The bonding requirements are specified in the NEC. Surge protection is another important consideration for electrical systems. Surge protection devices, or SPDs, are designed to protect against voltage surges caused by lightning strikes or other electrical disturbances. Voltage surges can damage sensitive electronic equipment, so it is important to install SPD to protect against these surges. SPD are available in a variety of types and sizes, so it is important to select the appropriate SPD for the application. Arc fault circuit interrupters, or size, are another important safety device. Size are designed to detect arc faults, which are a common cause of electrical fires. Arc faults occur when electricity jumps between two conductors, creating a high-temperature arc. A size trips the circuit breaker when an arc fault is detected, preventing the arc fault from starting a fire. A size are required in many areas of the home, including bedrooms, living rooms, and dining rooms. Ground fault circuit interrupters, or GFCIs, are another important safety device. GFCIs are designed to detect ground faults, which occur when electricity leaks to ground. Ground faults can cause electrical shock, so it is important to install GFCIs in areas where there is a risk of ground faults, such as bathrooms, kitchens, and outdoor areas. GFCIs strip the circuit breaker when a ground fault is detected, preventing electrical shock. When working with electrical systems, it is important to use the correct wiring methods. The NEC specifies the types of wiring methods that are permitted for different applications. Common wiring methods include non-metallic sheathed cable, or NM cable, electrical metallic tubing, or EMT, and rigid metal conduit, or RMC. Each wiring method has its own advantages and disadvantages, so it is important to select the appropriate wiring method for the application. The ampacity of a conductor is the maximum amount of current that the conductor can carry safely. The ampacity of a conductor depends on its size, insulation type, and the ambient temperature. The NEC provides tables that specify the ampacity of different conductors under different conditions. It is important to select conductors with adequate ampacity to prevent overheating and fire hazards. Overcurrent protection devices, such as circuit breakers and fuses, are designed to protect electrical circuits from overloads and short circuits. Overloads occur when the current in a circuit exceeds the ampacity of the conductors. Short circuits occur when there is a direct connection between two conductors of opposite polarity. Overcurrent protection devices trip the circuit breaker or blow the fuse when an overload or short circuit occurs, preventing damage to the electrical system and preventing fire hazard. Electrical boxes are used to enclose electrical connections. The electrical boxes provide protection for the connections and prevent accidental contact with live wires. The electrical boxes must be properly sized and installed according to the requirements of the NEC. Different types of electrical boxes are available for different applications. Some electrical boxes are designed for surface mounting, while others are designed for flush mounting. Some electrical boxes are made of metal, while others are made of plastic. When installing electrical equipment, it is important to follow the manufacturer's instructions. The manufacturer's instructions provide detailed information on how to install the equipment safely and correctly. Ignoring the manufacturer's instructions can lead to equipment damage, electrical shock, or fire hazards. In summary, bringing the high leg into the residence in a three-phase residential service is crucial for future flexibility, code compliance, and safety. This ensures that the electrical system is complete, safe, and adaptable to future needs.